question is, I wanted to basically mention.
Careful. So Ramadan Mubarak to all of you. Today is day 3, and for some of you it may be day 2, but that's okay. So today I would like to start the day, be positive, and start with a Ramadan dua. As I told you yesterday, that everybody out there listening, do send us a dua, and we'll start on a good footing. Of course, I'll take my hat off now because I've just rushed into the studio and still got it on. So I'll take it off because some of you might not recognize me with this particular hat. Well, salams to brother Abdul Hamid. That's a good start, isn't it? Yeah, looking at his picture today on the Facebook. So dua today on day 3 is Allah, on this day take me closer towards your pleasure, keep me away from your anger and punishment, grant me the opportunity to recite your verses of the Quran. By your mercy, O the most merciful. So that is dua for today, right? So there you are. My producer's got the screen back on, and he is always zooming in as if he's counting the hair on my head. That's what he likes to do. Count the hair on my head, you know. So that's how powerful his camera is over here, and so on. So of course, on the Facebook, you get a little bit of a delayed reaction, because by the time I've spoken, you'll get what I say in approximately 10 seconds later. So that's how the technology works. And here we have it. Well, it used to be 20 seconds before, but now with advancement of technology, we are down to approximately 10 seconds. So tell me now, what have you got planned for the day, and how is your Ramadan coming along? Now, people are always asking, well, how can I listen in? Well, you can listen in on 102.FM, that is the FM frequency, Ramadan special, or you can listen in on TuneIn. TuneIn, I'm going to give you some instructions of how to set that up on your phone, on your laptop, and wherever you have internet, you can tune in and you can listen in. Ahmed Moravia has joined us early this morning. Welcome, Ahmed. No doubt you will give us a little bit of your contribution and your thoughts, and introduce yourself to the whole wide world in a few moments. So do give us a call, Ahmed, and you can call on 0116 212 9324. That is our number, 0116 212 9324. So give us a call, and we can catch up. No doubt you'll be invited here to the program to come and do some shows with us. For those of you who do not know Ahmed, just wait till he calls in and he'll tell you all about himself. So I don't want to disclose any details about him. He likes to be a little bit discreet, does my brother Ahmed. Okay, so we're going to move on. Now, again, we had some requests here. They come in by email, they come in on the text, and they come in by phone as well. And also when you meet people outside, they talk to you about the radio. They want to know what's happening and when it's happening and so on. What kind of shows are coming on, and will you do this subject? Will you do that subject? And you never say no to everybody. You just agree with everybody, and then you see what you can do. And that's how it goes. Now, a huge request here for more education on halal food. Halal food is very, very important in 3 million Muslims in this country, and from the amount of meat that's consumed in the country, almost 26% of it is consumed by Muslims. Now, that is an absolute astonishing figure. Of course, you can qualify it, just like I did. The figure is not absolutely detrimentally 26%, it could be 25, it could be 24. So please do go and check. But the point here is that there's a lot of consumption of halal food in the UK meat industry. So we have arranged for a brother. He'll come in on Friday and he'll talk more to us about that particular industry and explain to you about all the different halal options available in England. Of course, there are many exhibitions now that take place up and down the country, in London, in Manchester, to bring more and more awareness, and more halal food is available in the shops now. If you go to your supermarket, you'll see loads of products out there, pre-packed, and some of them are also loose halal products. MashaAllah. So let's carry on with that. And of course, somebody sent me a message already. Muhammad Inamal Haq has joined. I always used to spell his name wrong, but today I know how to spell it. It's ENA and not ENM. So this is another well-known gentleman, no doubt. He's going to call in as well and talk to us about his charity endeavors, what he's been up to, where he's been, and what he's been doing recently, and so on. So as I said, a lot of people are doing a lot of good charity out there. So if you want to call in, I'll give you the number again. My producer is going to put it up on the screen so you can see it on the Facebook as well. If you can do that kindly, please, and you can see it yourself, and make a note of it, save it on your phone, and you can call us as quick as you can from your mobile, from your home phone, from wherever you are. 0116 2 and then 212 9324. 0116 212 9324. That's our number here at the radio. 0116 212 9324. And we have a text line as well, which is 07450 925 084. Do we have a WhatsApp line as well? Yes? Do we have WhatsApp? No, we have a WhatsApp as well, so you can contact us on that as well. 07450 925 084. Now, don't all be ringing all at once. We've only got one line. Yes? One line. So if you ring all at once, you'll have a problem. You'll find an engaged tone. So don't forget, Ramadan special EAVA, Ramadan.fm. If you go on the website, you'll see www.ramadan.fm, Ramadan special EAVA FM. Of course, serving the community. So now, of course, we also put out a little competition to say that who will do the best EAVA FM Ramadan special jingle. And if you can say that, Ramadan special EAVA Ramadan.fm 102.5 FM. That's what you have to say, 102.5 FM. If you can say that, then give me a ring and let's see how good you are at that. So going back, somebody sent me a message already about the halal food, saying when is this program going to be on? It's going to be on at 7 p.m. on Friday. So if you call in 7 p.m. on Friday, you will be able to talk to the panel that will come here presenting the halal program. So what happens is many experts out there in the respective fields will contact us or we contact them. So if you tell me that you want this particular topic on, we don't have everybody available all of the time, but we have to then go and find in the market out there the respective people who will come and do the show. And that is how the procedure is here. So if you want to present, come and join us here. Come and tell us what you want to talk about. And the procedures here are Monday to Friday, we do all the presenting. And on Saturdays and Sundays, we have a lot of different charities who come and talk to us about their projects all over the world and the fundraising they are doing for different projects in the community and also in other countries that they are operating in. So what happens after Ramadan? People are asking, well, why do we have this program only during Ramadan and not after? The reason for that is quite simple, because it is extremely difficult to get 40 or 50 volunteers motivated, encouraged, inspired to come and deliver a program for 30 days. It's hard enough to do it for more than 30 days is hard, but 30 days is hard enough. So this is the reason why we do it only during Ramadan. But khair, inshallah, as the community is growing, who would like to take a guess as to how many Muslims there are in Leicester? There's a gentleman just walked in, because we do have a walk-in policy, provided they pass all our criteria, they fill the forms in. This gentleman has not filled the forms in and he's walked in, and 6 forms for him to fill in first thing in the morning is a daunting task. He's not going to manage to do that. At least it will take him an hour to fill the forms in. So I'll ask our producer to help him fill the form in so that he is going to enter the studio and come and talk to us and tell us about all his endeavors over the last month during Ramadan, last year onwards. So if you, our producer will let him in shortly, and he will join us and he will come and talk to us. And any questions you have for him, we will be glad to entertain your question. So this is what the process is every Ramadan, 30 days. 30 days of action, 30 people, Ramadan special on EAVA 102.5 FM. We have a gentleman here who's going to come and do his version of Ramadan special on EAVA 102.5 FM. At the moment, what the procedure is, he will be recording that, and if he's good, then we're going to let you hear it. So my producer is right now arranging that to happen. Ramadan special on EAVA 102.5 FM. You are listening to Ramadan special on EAVA 102.5 FM. So later on today also we have another guest who had written to us and mentioned to us that there is not much content about health and well-being in our schedule over the years. Well, we do have programs concerning culinary skills, what to cook during Ramadan, what to eat during Ramadan. We have quite a few different topics like that. But what I did, I said, well, how about you come and talk to us about health and well-being, because that's how we do it here. So the young lady will join us later on today and talk to us about health and well-being. So that will be later on in the program today. So morning, you're listening to Drive Time with ZED at early hours. So early hours yesterday we talked about was Fajr time. The best time of the day is Fajr time. As soon as you have read your Salah, you will see that you will be positive, and that is the time when you enjoy to do all your good deeds. So all of you remember that the best time of the day is Fajr time in the mornings. After Fajr, do join and speak to everybody in the morning. Do your homework, do your computer, do your laptop, whatever you have to do. Read your Quran. That is the main thing to do. After Fajr, you read your Quran and you start reading your verses, and you will be better for it. You'll start the day very, very positive. So now we're going to move on to the rest of the day. At 11, we have our normal show that we do with the sisters, and followed at 12, we are doing a program also, community related. Most of the programs here are community related and are to do with community development. Now, after Ramadan, somebody was asking yesterday, well, what happens after Ramadan? Well, what we do is, on the radio, we want everybody who comes on the radio, who is presenting here, to be sure that after Ramadan they are going to carry on with activities concerning community development or do some good works in the community. This is very important because this is when we are active in development. So if you come and you do a program and there is no aftermath to that program, then we will not have benefited. So we always have the situation where a one-off program is not of any benefit. It's what happens afterwards. So many good initiatives have taken place in Ramadan, and after Ramadan we just we don't want to go to sleep. We want to carry on and continue to do the good work in the community. Sam John Paul has joined us. Good morning, Sam. Assalamu alaikum. And that is the greeting of Islam. Assalamu alaikum. So Sam, I want you also to learn how to say that. That's very good. So Vlogs Bands joined. Now I always struggle with that name. I need you to tell me Give me a call and tell me how is that name said exactly. 0116-212-9324 is where you can reach me this morning. So how have you been managing out there today in this cloudy, rainy day? Of course, Barsat, rain, Barish, different names we call it by in different languages. Of course, I'm surrounded here in Leicester on Evington Road. Just in a 1 mile radius, I have 20 languages. 20 languages. So those of you out there, how many languages do you speak and how many languages do you know of around your area? So I was told that in a school in London, there are 40 languages just in one school. That is only a primary school. That was a school in Haringey. I was told that 40 languages are spoken in that school. Many years ago, I went to that school to drop my children off myself, and I learned the same, that 40 languages, that is a lot of languages in one school. So that just shows you the diversity that we have in the community. 40 languages is by no means a small number. So 40, and we in Leicester, 20 is still a long way to go to 40. So the more languages there are, then you know that there is more people from different parts of the world that are today here in Leicester, in London, and in all of the major cities in the United Kingdom. So here in Leicester, just in our studio right now, we have about at least 5 languages. We have Portuguese, we have language. I don't know if there's a name for that language, but I call it the Mayman language. It's not a language, or is it a tribe? Is it a race? It's somebody can ring me and tell me if that's a language. Mayman is a language, and we have, of course, Irish as well. We have English. Amina Sheikh, assalamu alaikum. Nice to see you back, brother, for morning motivation. Yes, to keep everybody positive. That's what we have to do. So it's called Maimani language, Maimani language. So in Leicester, anybody gonna ring me and tell me where the Maimans originated from and how many Maimans are there in Leicester? That's very important. We need to know that, So this figure, to know how many people are in this city from different diversities is a fun subject, I think, And you start this off and the people start arguing. They said, no, there's more of us, there's more of you, and so on. And that's what happens. So you can call me up. And in fact, somebody said, well, could you give us some more details about that particular race, tribe, people? So I'll put that up and I'll read it out to you shortly. So we can do that after the break, can't we? My producer says, yes, we can. Of course, we can't do anything here without his permission. So keep it positive. That means anybody negative around you, walk away from them before their negative genes catch up with you and make you also negative. So you'll find that often if you're around people that are negative, then you also tend to become like that. So walk away and take your positive genes a little bit further away and engage with people who are positive always, and then you will be motivated to do good all of the time. It's all about we in the community, isn't it? My producer says. He sent me a message. It's all about we. It's not about I anymore. During Ramadan, we have a great initiative which we have set up for all of you, and this initiative is called MAD. What does that mean? It means make a difference. So have you made a difference to 10 people since the start of Ramadan? That was the target set for everybody by ZED. That is me, ZED from the drive time on EAVA 102.5 FM Ramadan special. This is the target set for you. Now, how do you make a difference to 10 people? Even to pick up that phone and say, I love you to your mother, your father, then this is also Sadqa Jariyah. And many, many things you can do to make a difference. Passing your knowledge to another person is also making a difference. Giving charity is making a difference. Making a difference to somebody's life is what the ultimate goal is. So imagine if you did that to 10 people and you explain the merits of making a difference to the person, and they will do the same to the next 10 people, and so on. Then that is what it's all about. So just do 10 and 10 and 10 and 10, and before you know it, you've made a difference to many, many people out there. Yes? Are we in agreement with that? So if the world population is 8 billion, you start in Leicester, 10 plus 10, 10 plus 10, you will go all around the world within a month. You'll reach the world if you carry on with that, right? So that's how it goes. It's like a little WhatsApp. You send one WhatsApp, and before you were allowed to send opt-in number, I think it used to be about 20, but now they've limited it down to 5. So if you want something good to say, you can send it on the WhatsApp, and it can make a difference to somebody. Somebody will be inspired by what you read. Often every day I get a dua. I get some good messages, and I get some messages which just delete straight away because they have no value at all. And everybody gets them every day. On average, the messages that you receive on your WhatsApp range anywhere from 20 to 100. That is the average message a person receives, between 20 to 100. So this is how it goes. People are more and more in tune in connecting with each other via Facebook, via WhatsApp, by Telegram, by all the opt-in numbers of social media platforms that there are out there. Of course, if you don't know about all of them, then you will be missed out from a good message or even a bad message. So this is how we have to keep it positive, send good messages that will benefit somebody, and don't send any bad messages, especially to me, because I am very fast at deleting them. They go straight in my recycle bin, and that's what's going to happen. So if you send me a message of no value, then that is what's going to happen. So messages are coming in on my mobile, and I've told everybody, send it to the studio. That's what you have to do. And they're still sending it to me. So if you want to talk to us, you can call us on 0116 212 9324. 0116 212 9324. Mr. Briscoe has joined in again. Mr. Briscoe, don't call me now because only 37 seconds to go. And I know that when you call, you're going to be on the phone for 1 minute and 11 seconds. So if I've got 26 seconds to go now, you're not going to make it. And that is what I've got to tell you. So you've got to talk to me. You can call me later. Of course, as the day goes by, even it's day 3, on radio, what tends to happen is that you get busy as you go along. So I'm going to catch up with you after this short break. Jazakallah khair. I'll catch up. Assalamu alaikum. street alley, and these girls were starting the day at what time were they starting in the morning?
3:45
3:45
a.m.
a.m. and they finished the day at what time?
10 o'clock.
At night, and they have
10
two
p.m.
2 hour break, and in their curriculum there was no science, history, geography, nothing of the sort, and all they were learning was only salah, reading Quran and hadith, and that's all they were learning. And this is the routine that they were following, which is all very, very good, but they didn't have access to learn about any maths or English or anything like that. The books that they had, which were English books, from which they were reading from, was almost 30 years old, and they were crying out for help, for assistance. And this is when we went there, we were quite sad to see that, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
And
It
so
was
on.
devastating to see it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
This is when you see these orphanages in other countries, when you actually go there and see with your own eyes, you really feel it, don't you?
yeah.
And then moving on to feeding needy people, when even I saw an 80 or 85-year-old grandmother, she was. How was she reacting towards you, Brother Yusuf?
She was complaining a lot and chasing me.
And crying
Yeah.
that she wants a food
She
parcel.
wanted the food parcel, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw one lady, old lady, she was falling down, and this is how desperate they were, that they were just grabbing at anything to be favored with their food parcel. Now, if you take 200 food parcels, they will disappear with less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, and then after that, what do? They start chasing you. They're pulling your shirt. They just run to your car, and it is frightening, intimidating.
Yeah.
And the brothers with us were saying that we are quite used to it. It happens here all the time. Of course, when you go with 200 parcels, you've got actually 5,000 people there that need to be fed.
Yeah. Well, and then the word gets out, and then all the people in the area then flock to it. And then you usually have fights, unfortunately. And a lot of disruption and chaos goes on, And so it's very sad to see it. So, but it's good that when you're giving the food out to those people, you see the smiles on their faces, and you're spreading hope for them.
Of course, when you go to do these tasks abroad or any needy area, you will experience poverty like you've never seen before. And many of the brothers who are coming here on Saturdays, Sundays, they've done these journeys. And it does change a person, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It makes you actually appreciate every morsel of food in your house, One of the things that I tend to do now is look for scraps so I can eat them. Just to remember the fact that the people that I'm often seeing when I travel, haven't got that choice to leave a scrap. They don't leave scraps.
So like the food that we throw away every day is food that these homeless people out there in these countries, they just take poverty and homelessness to another dimension, don't they?
Absolutely. And this is what, as you've said, Zed, is Ramadan is one of the most important aspects of Ramadan is that you do feel hungry throughout the days. I mean, we are now fasting for around, 14, 15 hours, or what? It's probably longer than that. Some people don't wake up for suhoor, then it becomes a lot longer than that. It's almost one day you're fasting, isn't it? The whole day. You eat and then you sleep and then you miss your fajr or whatever. You might just be fasting for a whole day. For some of these people, involuntarily, they're fasting for days.
Throughout the year.
Yes.
That's right, yeah.
Some of them don't have access to anything. And then we were saying about the education. They're being, literally,
Starved of knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starved of knowledge as well as food.
Of course. And we will, in a day or two to come, we're going to highlight poverty in England as well. So now our time is expired, so we shall get back to you after the next break. So don't go away. Listen in. We have some interesting guests here to introduce to you. So we'll be back shortly. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Brothers and sisters, we are back on air for our last session this morning up until 10:30, and we have in the studio, we call them walk-in guests. They walk through the door and they come and they introduce themselves. So I'm going to let our esteemed guest introduce herself to you today.
Alaikum, brothers and sisters. My name is Mariam Bulari. I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you for inviting me, Zed. I wanted to be part of this session today to talk about a topic that's really important to a lot of people. It's at the forefront of the news at this point, which is health and well-being. The society as a whole suffers from stress majorly, and stress is being proven to be the cause of so many illnesses and diseases. So, health and well-being is really something to focus on, and this month of Ramadan is such a great time to focus on this.
Of course, this is a very good point. When we invited you, the public, about what kind of topics that you want to be touching, and Mariam here was kind enough to give us a call and talk to us about this particular subject. And you know what we are like here? We say, well, why don't you come in and talk about it, since you sound like an expert on this? And that's how it happens. So if you call us and tell us about a topic, then we're going to put you to a test and ask you to pop in as well. So Brother Yusuf, is that a good idea?
Great idea, Zed. Great idea. Well done for suggesting that.
We're in agreement, mashallah.
For a change. So Ramadan does have miracles.
That's right. So tell us about your journey in this field of health and well-being, Mariam.
Okay, well, for me, it started with having chronic back pain. As a child, I had scoliosis, and I was flat-footed as well. So I was always suffering. Every time I did sport, every time I'd have to do something physically exhaustive, I would suffer from major back pain. It'd take me days to recover from that. Yoga was in the mainstream, I think, when Madonna was at the height of this yoga explosion in the West. Madonna was advertising it, and her performances and her shows had a lot of yoga poses in them. And I think I was about 13 at the time seeing this. And that's the first time yoga popped into my mind. And it wasn't until a couple of years later that a doctor had actually suggested I do something for, self-regulation, self-healing, that was outside of the medical world, because there was nothing they could really do apart from prescribe me painkillers. And so I went to the library, got a book on yoga, and just read on the topic and started doing some poses. And as soon as I did one pose, which was a back twisting posture, immediately something switched on in my body. I sort of reconnected with a part of my body, as if my brain and body had been separate up until this moment.
Detached.
Yeah, detached. And of course, yoga is about union. It's the literal translation of yoga in Sanskrit is yuj. It means to yoke, to unify.
Of course, many people, they are of the impression that yoga is directly related to the Buddhism and the Hindu sector. But when you research, you'll find that yoga had actually had its upbringing, initiation in Egypt.
Yeah. That is what new research has actually exposed, highlighted, yes. And that's something really important as a Muslim. It's something that was, I think, put a lot of people off in the community from coming into a yoga class. But the origins of yoga, it stems from Africa and India. It wasn't specifically Hindu or Muslim. It was just the place of origin. So it is interesting, this new research to show that that yoga does come from Egypt, because they've seen artifacts and on, is it papyrus it's called, that show yoga poses, and that was way before India had started their lineage of yoga. So it's really interesting.
Very interesting. When you mentioned Africa, I was smiling because I'm from Africa, and a whole lot of good things have originated from Africa, haven't they?
It's a great
Absolutely,
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
people probably don't know it. And one of the vices that everyone has nowadays is coffee, and that originated from Ethiopia,
Yeah.
and that was by a Yemeni. A Yemeni traveling in Ethiopia discovered the coffee bean.
Oh, right. I
That's,
didn't know that, but thankful to that because I love coffee.
yeah, it's all in this book. It's all in this book. So this is where we are at with it. So you'll carry on with. Sorry for that brief
That's okay.
distraction. So we were back to yoga and how yoga and meditation are related, and how the body during the month of Ramadan, when people are fasting, the relevance of meditation. Because
Yeah.
when we pray salah and we make du'as, we are almost in silence and in meditation mode, aren't we? When we
Yeah,
are praying.
definitely. Yeah, and this is something that I love about modern science is that it's catching up to the ancient theories that yoga changes you and heightens certain aspects of your being. And one of those is the area of neurology, neuroplasticity. It has the capacity to change your brain. And that is quite important in terms of prayer, in terms of intention, because if you are a practicing Muslim, it's very, you know what you're doing every time you go into Salah. Can become very automatic. Yoga can really enhance your state, really transcend just doing going through the motions to really a deeper state of connection with Allah. And that's something that fascinates me, really.
So almost like the prayer itself is a action of yoga, isn't it?
It's a huge part
in
of
terms
yoga.
of your body, the benefits to the body, because
Yep.
every action of prayer has a benefit to the body, Brother Yusuf. Have you also read much information on that? You know, you go into ruku, you do your sujood, and every part of the body is in motion.
Absolutely.
I don't think we know enough about it. That's the thing. We haven't done enough research about the medical benefits of prayer, of wudu, ruku, sujood, sajda. When you're in sajda, what's happening with the body, what's happening to the blood flow, what's happening to the brain and the heart and the arteries, etc. I'm sure that you will find that there will be massive benefits, as there is in yoga. And we know one very famous guy that's got a yoga teacher who, was off the pitch last night for Liverpool, Mo Salah. So he was doing yoga poses, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I showed you that.
Yeah, you did. And as a person who studied sports science, my first kind of getting athletes into yoga, I led a clinical study at Loughborough University for canoe athletes. And it was incredible. The changes that you saw in the athletes, it was a year-long study, was incredible. But most importantly, it made them feel good. And I think that's, there is obviously something, we live in a society where we need some robustness in our theories. So we need to have proof. But when you do yoga, the reason it's become so popular is because it feels great for the practitioner. It changes something within even the focus on breath. There's a lot to say to that for athletes. Being an athlete is incredibly stressful. There's so much to cope with. So rather than just the physical benefits, which are obviously huge in the yoga world, it changes your body. So many people come to the practice for a deeper purpose, and I think it's the mind, really. I think it's that importance in mindfulness these days.
Maybe we've left khushu', the deepness of the prayer. That's why I mentioned that thing about the Formula One recitation.
Yeah.
It was a point that, I think it's destructive, because if one listens and ponders on the verses and in that position, then you're in your ruku, you spend longer, and sujud, you spend longer, and you've got time to think, time to mull over what's going on, what's been recited,
Yeah.
then it has more meaning.
Yeah.
So, that's maybe we have yoga within Islam, but we've lost the plot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the effects of yoga.
Well, so many of the yoga poses, you were saying that there's not enough research that goes into Salah, but so many of the yoga poses are similar to our postures when we're in prayer. So there's, more of a connection than we think with Islam and yoga. But I mean, if you think about it, everything we say, the words we say, the breath that we use, I think the connection with Arabic and breath is really interesting. That's something that yoga really complements. It just complements it. So if you do focus on one aspect, because before yoga, I just prayed, automatically as my parents taught me to. And after yoga, I started dissecting every element, and it was everything I learned from yoga, such as the breath. I was more in tune with, and that got me so deep into the practice that sometimes I was in a flow state. I didn't even realize I was so immersed. And that's actually quite transcendental. And, I think that's that deep spirituality that people sometimes miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just want to tell all the listeners out there that if you want to phone in, it's 0116-212-9324. And if you want to text us, it's 07450-925-084. That's what you have to do. So, Mariam, would you like to have a go at our Ramadan message, which is you are listening to Drive Time with ZED on Ramadan Special.
You are listening to Drive Time with ZED on Ramadan Special.
102.5
102.5 FM.
So, is that a thumbs up? Yeah? Is it better than the last one?
Oh, it's up there. Hang on. Ramadan Special on EAVA 102.5 FM.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's I think you've got the thumbs up there,
Good.
right? So
Done
we were now reflecting back on meditation, exercise, and yoga being part of exercise, and
Yes.
in relation to when we make salah,
Yeah.
and how the postures are all connected.
Yeah.
And this is salah is not only reciting, but it's also has physical benefits
Yes.
to the body. So we shall delve more into that over the month of Ramadan to tell people more. But bringing it back here to Brother Yusuf here is where are we with the medical well-being in historical terms in Islam?
Well, I think we knew a lot more about it 700 years ago than we do today as Muslims, as an ummah. So, I mean, you've got Ibn Sina, who says that medicine is a science from which one learns the state of the human body. Yeah. So it's about knowing the human body. Medicine is a science, which that is really deep. Who's saying that stuff now? In order to preserve good health when it exists and restore it when it is lacking. So Ibn Sina, this is would have been around probably the 10th century or the 11th century. That's what he would have been saying. And hospitals at the time were, forming the basis of all modern hospital science today. Yeah. So, hospital development, instruments of perfection of surgery, blood circulation. It was being talked about. Ibn Sina's bone fractures. So he would be able to reset the bone. Of course, the modern opticians that we have today, a lot of it was from Ibn Haytham, you know, and inoculations, herbal medicine, pharmacy, medical knowledge. But it was all based on not separating the spiritual, the inner dimension, and the outer dimension. That's what it was all based on. So Muslims created that, and now today that's been lost again. So, you know, what we're talking about is the inner dimensions and the spirituality and the ruh, the flow of energy,
Yes,
which is what we're lacking. That's why I've got such bad posture and I'm fidgeting today, you know, like this, and I don't have a lot of energy because, you know, we've lacked that inner dimension, the outer dimension come together. That's what Muslim scientists brought to the table through the Quran and the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ. Now you go to the GP or something, it's devoid of that. It's take 2 of these and lie down. You'll get better, I think.
Of course, back in the day, a lot of inventions. Now we were talking about these inventions. They're all detailed very well in the 1001 Inventions book, which Brother Yusuf has looked at this morning, and it is a absolute, very intellectual, informative read, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And definitely, guys, all of you out there should have a look at this book, because there's not only medicine and exercise and well-being, but there are so many other subjects in it, you know. And have you come across this before? 1001
I want to take
Inventions?
it with me.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. And you know what Brother Yusuf was saying is completely accurate. And that's why yoga is so big now, because it's self-regulation. It's healing from within before you get sick. So we don't need to get sick in our society. We can prevent that from happening. And it's fascinating to see that there's such a strong heritage that we have, that we can see that was the case many years ago, and only now are we seeing that how important it is to maintain those traditions.
And the other thing which is really important, it was free for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it was free. Now, I mean, they had a better NHS system than we do today, and ours is falling apart now. So we're asking ourselves why, you know. But,
so we have, I think if we coordinate, there's a lot of good people in the community who are working very hard in health and well-being. If we coordinate all of them together and have a good discussion on this, and they can work
really
together as a team, can't they?
Yeah, definitely.
And would you like to be part of that initiative?
Yes, I would love to. That sounds great. Yeah.
So really, we would like you very much to take a lead on that.
Yeah.
And get
be
together.
happy to.
We have our resident here, Dr. Keem. We call him Dr. Salim Khan, and he's very, very knowledgeable also in health and well-being. And this is a subject now, compulsory in schools. Were you all aware of that?
Well, I started teaching yoga at schools 10 years ago, and before, you know, it became compulsory, and I saw it going that way because of the behavior change that the teachers saw in the children. 3 to 6 year olds I was teaching. So I'm so happy it's become compulsory. I think that's a major evolution in our education system.
Well, it's not yoga as such that has become compulsory, but mindfulness, health and well-being is a compulsory subject now, because, as you said, prevention is better than cure, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And if we can learn through means of meditation, exercise, and see the relevance of it, then we'll all benefit from that. And
Yeah,
teach our
absolutely.
children at an early age. Otherwise, we're going to lose these children to the famous smartphone.
Oh yeah,
that.
definitely. Yeah.
So this is very
not
important.
just our children, Zed, it's all of us.
Well,
All of us
We're
are
all
obsessed.
lost.
I mean, my life revolves around it, unfortunately, because how I make a living and my whole life is about charity and stuff like that. So I have to keep posting and keep checking, and I have to grow the audience all the time. If I don't grow my audience, then there'll be no food on the table, you know, literally. That's, unfortunately, that's the way people have now, that lifestyles are changing now.
So does that impact on your family?
Yeah,
your
it
children?
does. Of course it does. And it's not just me, it's then the other members of the family that may be spending far too long on these devices. And we know that it is inherently bad for you. Because even your posture, right, Mariam? Your posture.
Oh yeah, there's real chronic neck situations that my students coming to my class.
Yeah.
You know, with horrible neck pains.
Yeah.
And they always tell me it's because they're like this all day, head down. Yeah.
Constantly.
Looking at the phone.
And then sedentary as well, so not doing as much active and moving around, and you know.
Yeah.
So this is a problem, Zed.
So this is the relevance of health and well-being. What Mariam has just highlighted is that when you are even on your mobile phone, excessive use. Explain again about the neck.
Yeah, a lot of my students come in with neck problems that they always explain is due to phone use, looking down on their phone. There's no other explanation for that. And I'm sure there's, you know, in the future, I mean, I hope not, but there's going to be some kind of chronic mobile phone-itis for the upper spine, you know, because it's really going that way. A lot of my students just have such bad neck pain that you have to really start fixing. But, you know, all of this stuff is, it's just about organisation, isn't it? I try not to spend so much time on my phone, and I think I'm like you, Youssef, I have a digital media job, you know, to keep up with, and you have to engage your audiences and keep them interested in what you're doing. But there are ways of, you know, organising your day. Maybe just even if you have an intention of 3 hours, no mobile phone use, that changes everything, you know. So, yeah.
Well, we are just being told by our producer that we have 54 seconds, and he has also noticed, our producer, that we're talking about yoga and we're talking about meditation, and he's noticed the way Brother Yusuf was sitting in his chair, and it's not good for his posture. So I'm glad that this program is taking effect already, that our producer is noticing these things. And earlier on, when we were talking about mobile phone usage and you immediately moved your neck up, this is the reaction that you get when somebody is telling you about something that is wrong, and you respond immediately.
Zed, you know, we're about to end, but is Miriam going to be giving classes?
I think you should do more work here with us.
Yes.
And highlight this information more, so our producer will set a little program for you.
Okay.
And would you be up for that?
I would love that, yes. And if anyone wants to ring in for questions, that would be welcomed as well.
Of course, there you are. Time is expired now. Jazakallah khair. We will see you tomorrow morning with some more wonderful guests. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum.